From Arizona to Washington and all the way to Georgia, welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast. My name is Cannon Griner, along with my co-host Abe Elmore. We're just two friends who grew up together, chased sports dreams, and now we have big boy jobs on the opposite side of the country. Well, not anymore. We created this podcast to catch up, unpack real life, and share the ride with you. From deep conversations to lessons we're still learning, laugh to life pivots. It's the kind of catch up everyone needs. What up, Abe? How are we doing today, man?
Couldn't be more excited, but I know you're excited. And I'd love to hear how excited you are for this year's Turkey Bowl.
Dude, I'm pumped up. It's been a whole year without football for me, so I got some pent up aggression. I'm ready to take out on my innocent friends. So, how about yourself, man? You've been hitting the gym, doing your sprints, or what you training for?
I just got the fear injected in me thinking about how you haven't had football for a year, and it's just gonna be released. God, hopefully I'm on your team. I couldn't be more excited. There's a couple years where everyone was still doing football and I wasn't, and I was like, oh, dude, like I'm gonna get creamed in this thing. But I'm excited. This is my year 3 with cleats again, year 2 or 3 with cleats again. There's a couple of years where I was just so much frustration from slipping all the time, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see everyone. Excited to shock a lot of people with some news that maybe a lot of people don't know quite yet. But yeah, I'm certainly in better shape. Like I remember last year, I had a hard time keeping up on 2 feet. There's a lot of bending over, trying to catch my breath. And I think I'll have more stamina this year. But haven't done any drills. Maybe I should probably do that this week, the next couple of days to better acclimate myself to the harsh conditions. But I'm excited, man. I know it's one of your favorite days of the year. It's certainly one of my favorite mornings of the year, just to see everyone, see who comes, and yeah, man, I'm pumped. Do you want to, for the people that don't know, do you want to kind of describe Turkey Bowl in the best way that you can? And I'll probably do the same, but just because there's so much to it. But
Absolutely.
But give it your best crack.
Yeah, so we've basically had this tradition for the last 15 to 18 years, I'd say. I don't know the exact number on that. We'll have to check. But the last 15 to 18 years, and basically it started, we're kids and our parents all got an email or text message, or I don't even know what was around back then, from our coach. He was always the youth football coach, Ryan Blakeman. He basically was like, hey, everyone should come to the park Thanksgiving morning. We'll start a Turkey Bowl. And, being in Arizona, weather's always nice, or at least playable. It's nice. And, we all show up, and, it was cone set up, touch football. We might have 10 kids on the field. We might have 50, but whoever shows up. And, we played, and that was the tradition for probably 3 or 5 years. Like Ryan would send an email or text confirming that everyone's coming, and then everyone would show up. And it's basically gotten to the point where we don't need a text anymore. Everyone knows, 7 a.m. you're waking up and you're getting to the park, and we're putting on our cleats. And even though we might live across the country, across the world, a lot of us come home for Thanksgiving, come back to Arizona, and it's just a meetup of all of our friends and all of our families as well. A lot of our parents will still show up, and they might not play, but there's people that bring food, and it's just a good hang before the chaos of the family of Thanksgiving, that everyone's hopping around and seeing everybody. So it's good to just hang out with your friends and have some good time playing football. Was that good enough, Abe, or what do you have to add to that?
No, that was great. It's so cool because when it started, right, probably 2006, whatever it was, we were all playing, Thunder Alley football. We all had jerseys from Thunder Alley. We all had our own sets of flags, so everyone just naturally showed up with their different jerseys or flags, and then you start assembling teams. Dads would be all-time QBs sometimes, and to see the progression of it was so cool. When you're a kid, you just want to run around and get all that energy. And I'm sure our parents are so thankful for us to be tired for the rest of the day while they do the other Thanksgiving duties for that day. But Yeah, just awesome. That at some point flags did get tossed away, and or they didn't fit anymore, or whatever it was, because it became two-hand touch for many years, and even within the last, I think probably 3 years, or maybe even last year. Last year, I remember Ryan showed up and had hundreds of flags. It seemed like so many flags, and that was so cool to see. It's like, all right, we're back to, there's no um, honorary system of, oh, you got touched with two hands, and oh, I didn't get touched, and there's none of that drama. Kept the flags, and that was kind of fun to put flags on again as 24-year-old. The last time I had flags on for football was probably 12. So that was cool. Ryan brought like a flat top grill and started making breakfast burritos. That was I remember that was a hit. Years before, there people, parents would always just bring donuts and waters and all that stuff, and just to see people that you haven't seen in years. It's always like, who's going to show up. Oh, I haven't seen this person in years. Oh, I only see this person at this event. It's so cool. And again, I think just with as many people that are playing, there's almost just as many spectators gathering around. I know my dad always enjoys going, and doesn't go nearly as early as I do, but he enjoys going and talking with the parents and the people that grew up with us. And I mean, I can only imagine the nostalgia that they feel watching their kids play football again. Granted, their kids are 25 or whatever, instead of 6 years old. But such a cool event. It's something you look forward to every year, and yeah, and again, like looking back to again, like there'd be so many kids of different ages. Like we had to separate into like 2 different games, which it was 2 full games. Now it's just like one mosh pit of people. It's like 11 versus 11, sometimes more, on a wide field that we make it before. But man, so many stories. I could think of so many individual stories, from this event, and I'm curious to see what are some of yours that you remember, or maybe are some of your favorite stories over the years.
Yeah, some of my favorites were, I played a lot of quarterback on the teams, and we'll switch. Everybody seems to get a turn, and um, it's fun to throw it deep and let your receiver go get it. And so one year we had my buddy Jay Dan come out from college, and had him, going vertical, and left him a little long, and he made a diving catch into a tree, and that was a good laugh and definitely funny. And then very similar, there's this uh, Nico. He was running a vert, and I threw the whole length of the field. We're only playing probably 40, 50-yard fields, and I overthrew him by quite a bit, and he was catching this ball. He had it in his mind, and there's this bush is it's overgrown, and it's right at the end of the field, and so I let it go, and I'm like, oh, that felt good. Like I let go of that ball well, and I just see it go into the bush, and he's looking over his shoulder, and the bush just opens up for him. He goes, and it just closes behind him, and all that's left was his hat he was wearing outside the bush, and he was just vanished. And that was quite a funny time. You know, that's probably 3 or 4 years ago, and that gets brought up every year now. So, that's a good one when it makes it down the line of Turkey Bowl, legendary status there. So, some of my favorite things are always finding the sleeper of the year. There's always seems to be a sleeper. Abe has definitely been the sleeper in years past. It's not very often you're a sleeper twice. Somebody just seems to never get covered, and then it seems like the next year everyone's like, oh, they were open all the time, we got to guard them. And then that kind of just opens up a new sleeper of the year. So that's always fun, just kind of given the who is not attracting enough attention to be guarded, and getting open and all that. So that's some of my favorites. How about yourself, Abe? Any good memories?
Yeah, I to this day I still understand why people guard me as much as they do. Certainly, like I think Michael Cruz has so much love for me that, that he always announces to everyone is like, Abe's gonna have a big year this year, and I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, I'm trying to be under the radar here, Michael. But some of my favorite memories, some are, I would say, bigger than others. But I remember the year that it's also important to know that we play football for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. No, probably like an hour and a half. And then the second we take a break, the chances of us going out and playing football again are pretty low, especially the older we get. But I remember during one of the breaks, everyone was running in a circle, throwing the ball up in the air. And there's some infamous videos out there of just us looking like idiots running in a tight circle in a conga line, basically throwing a football in the air. I remember the years of like even like the little things like Zach bringing his dog down, and it's just dogs running around the field. I think remember Alec trying to chase a dog. Stupid things like that. Again, you mentioned me being a sleeper. I remember again, Candace's not quarterback all the time. I always try to get the ball once and start slinging that thing around. There's some times where you feel like Aaron Rodgers. I remember last year I was like, all right, maybe I'm washed up. Maybe I can't throw this football anymore. But man, yeah, the years where you're slinging it around and it feels good and you feel like you're on top of the world, and you lead a beautiful like 2 drives back to back, like scoring touchdowns, and you kind of look at Ryan Blakeman, you give him one of these, like, are you not entertained? And so yeah, like I think I remember those. I certainly remember the feelings I felt with stuff like that, but it's also hard to forget the times that you do play bad and you're like, oh, I shouldn't touch football probably for another year until next year and give up throwing it. But so many and even like running down the field and seeing like 12 blue jerseys of Javelina's. Some guys, I think I was the first one to like lose their jersey, and I showed up and everyone gave me so much crap for not having it, and I was like, I've never seen it since. But
Javelinas was our youth team. We played from, what was that, 6th to 8th grade, somewhere in there.
6th to 8th. Yeah, I played 1 year. I don't know how many years you guys played, but yeah, I played in 8th grade. I think you guys played 2 years before that as well. Maybe I should go find like an old like Steelers jersey from Thunder Alley. One of those.
I'm sure that would fit. Yeah, your 3rd grade team. No way.
They're pretty big, man. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, just it's so fun to see. Like even like Brandon Simlock got so big one year, and it's like, all right, now I want that guy on my team. You can just throw it 8 feet up in the air, and he's gonna jump 2 inches to get it. He's so damn tall. And yeah, seeing everyone's competitive nature, like seeing CJ fired up on Turkey Bowl, and I mean, there's years where like I wasn't, especially like I think during my college years when I was still playing golf, and I was like, hey, like please don't break an arm today, because my coach would be so pissed. But just the shenanigans you get into, I remember there was one year I turned into the sideline coach, and I like took myself out of the game, and I just started screaming defensive schemes and started drawing up plays for the offense. But no, it's just so fun to see everyone and I mean, play football again. I mean, it's how often do you get to go play football randomly with 50 people?
How long do you think we'll do it?
That's a great question. I mean, we've seen games. I mean, we're not the only one playing at this park. I mean, usually there's one other Turkey Bowl going on the same day at the same park at the same time, and there's been like 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, maybe 30-year-olds on that other side of that park playing football. Was it last year that one guy, the ambulance came?
I don't remember that.
Recent years, there was an ambulance that came for the other game, and I think some guy like broke his arm or something like that. But there's always another game going on that's not affiliated with us. They're older. I mean, I could see this going into into our 30s, maybe. I think for I would safely say another 5 years this will happen. I think where it starts maybe not happening is when people start having kids. It'll stop for a period of time, and then it'll happen again because it's like, all right, like our kids are playing turkey bowl now, and there might be some dads that start ripping that ball around and throwing for them. There might, some people might have to hang up the cleats. I don't know. I don't know when that's going to stop. I hope it doesn't, right? I mean,
Dude, I think I have some more optimism than you. I think this goes for a while, especially, if we all stay in the area. Like, I just don't see a year where we're like, you know what, I'm not playing this year. Like, at least,
yeah,
for the core group of guys that played in that Javelina team, if you're showing up to play. Like, I don't know. I don't see many people backing out. And yes, I see the kids that could be a hiccup, but I feel like we have enough babysitters on the side. All our parents are showing up, all the girls are showing up to watch their kids slash husband, boyfriend, go ball out for a good 2 to 3 hours.
I think we might be too competitive to the point too where, who's going to be the person that shows up that's, like, oh, I'm not going to play this year. It's like, what do you mean? Like there's enough banter that goes around, in the group that, that maybe twist someone's arms. It's like, all right, I've got to play now. I came here, no cleat. I'm in flip flops. Like, wasn't going to come and play, but man, I got bullied into playing today. And so I think maybe that's the key. Maybe there's got to be so much banter where, people show up and they're like, oh, I'm not going to play, and just bullying them into playing. And then I think the next step past that would be, all right, well, people, maybe that happens a couple times and then people don't show up anymore. And then, what's the plan after that? We start kidnapping people and get them to this field, or
I don't know. I think people will continue to play longer than we think. Who would have guessed that we're still 25 all doing this, something we did when we were 6, right? Like, it's changed, yes, but it hasn't changed enough where it's like we're done. So I think it keeps going. I'm happy it's still going, and I hope I'm right.
I think as long as Ryan continues to show up and cook food for for a bunch of hungry 20-year-olds, I think people will continue to show up. Because I
think so too, but I think it's even elevated past Ryan now. Like, even if he didn't show up, I think everybody's still coming down, same time, same place. But we have a good core, we have a good amount of numbers, and I just think it's gotten to the point where it's not going to revolve around one person. Like, it is its own being now at this point.
I guess the goal for it. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I think the goal for it is it just has to continue to evolve, right? Because the first year, no one brought water, no one brought anything. Like, now people are now, even like parents just drop off a case of water, we'll say hi and then dip. Like it's became this big potluck. And so, what's the next evolution, right? Like, so I think maybe that's what we have to focus on is like, all right, like, you got to basically build it and they'll come. It's like Field of Dreams. Like, we just got to build it and they'll come. They'll keep coming. Like what's next? When does breakfast burritos not become good enough for people to show up just to show up and then get roped into playing? It's like, someone's got to do something, the next year. Or, I don't know. But I think that's kind of the key to it. Is like, all right, like, not that we're thinking about how to make it better the next year, but there's got to be another element to, how do we get guys there that are maybe on the fence that are about getting older? And it's like, oh, like, there's icy hot. Like, we're gonna have PT here. Like, we're gonna have, this person's is a certified, trainer. Like, if you pull anything, like we're ready. So.
Maybe. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point. We've had some pretty good luck with injuries. There not being any, so hopefully that continues. But Abe, we've talked about the beginning of Thanksgiving. What other plans do you have for this Thursday?
Yeah, man, it's been kind of the same the last couple years, which is great. I've got an uncle that lives here now in Phoenix. So it's grandparents, my mom's parents, my uncle, aunt, brother, everyone comes over. And we cook. I think this year is one of the first years that I've got to probably help a little bit more in the kitchen. I'm not going to try to step too much in there unless I'm asked, but try to help out. But man, it's just football, a bunch of games, and family time, which I think is how Thanksgiving should be spent. I can't really think of a better way to spend it. But it is here at this house, which is, I think it's been here for the last couple of years, and for that it's nice. Some things I do kind of suck about Thanksgiving is having to travel a lot, or even like having to drive all across town all day long. So thankful that my parents, always open up the house, and that they've always been the house to do everything at, and yeah, again, just good food, football, and a ton of games. My family's also degenerate gamblers, so a lot of gambling will be made. I wouldn't say made, will be done. So that's something that I look forward to. But what about what's your later half of Thanksgiving look like?
Yeah. Turkey bowl, obviously, and then gonna come home. My grandma's coming in town. Well, first of all, I'm flying back. I'll be back in Arizona for it. So currently up in Washington, gonna be back for this Thursday, and so I'll be back. My grandma will be back. My sister will be back. She's also up in Indiana. So it's good to have everybody back, hang out with the family, and that's really it. My family is not too big down in Arizona, so it's always just been a core of us. Occasionally, my grandma will come down. When my great grandparents were alive, we'd hang out with them, but they've passed years ago. So really, it's just been the core five, and it's been different for us. I feel like than most families, because most families, they'll either have this family they got to see, and then maybe the mom side, maybe the dad side, and kind of hop around. And for me, it's always just been, what are us five doing? And then, is my grandma coming in town? Or that's really about it. So it'll just be us hanging out, and my mom and grandma will probably cook something. We'll all hang out, help out here and there where we can, and have a good Thanksgiving dinner. And then, football will be on. We'll probably play games. My mom's been excited coming up with some silly games. She was trying to tell me about one over the phone the other day, and she literally couldn't talk. Like, she was cackling so much. She's like, you'll see when you get here. And I'm pretty excited for whatever she has in store. So probably play some fun games that she's come up with. And then, being with Alyssa, I'm now kind of learning that my Thanksgiving growing up wasn't how everybody spends Thanksgiving. Last year we had my Thanksgiving, and then we're like, all right, let's go see Alyssa's people. And she has grandparents on this side of the family, grandparents on this side of the family, her family. And it was all like a bunch of visiting and a lot of traveling, even though they were all in Arizona and all within a 20-30 minute drive. It was just like, okay, I'm being pulled in so many directions. This is weird for me. All I've ever known is sit and, hang out with us five or six. And so it's very different hearing everyone else's perspective of Thanksgiving, family. And it's been good though. It's a learning experience. And so, we'll have a hangout with my family this year until probably about 3 or 4 p.m. And then we'll go hang out with Alyssa's immediate family, and they're having people over. So that makes it easy. It's only 2 houses this year, and that'll be great.
I can only imagine how anticipated this Thanksgiving is with Ireland being up in Indiana for some time, you being in Seattle for some time. The grinders certainly feel that the puzzle pieces are probably coming together a little bit more this year than years past, just because you guys have been away. So I'm sure that there's a lot of excitement again. I'm sure your mom's planning everything out just to maximize the grinder time, which is awesome. And I'm sure probably everyone feels that kind of anticipation for it. But yeah, man, getting pulled in a bunch of directions, it's tough. I mean, I've felt that a little bit, having to kind of bounce back between, certain family functions and different family functions, but it just makes me it solidifies it even more that I would like to be the one that like hosts everything. And hosting's hard. Like I get it. But I like to be the house and hopefully the future. That just, hey, just come here. Doors open. Like we'd love to have everyone and everything and do it all, but please do it here. Because I don't want to be split. Because traveling takes time. It takes time out of the day. Basically have less time with your people, and I think that's what this holiday is all about. It's just spending time. All the holidays are about just spending kind of time with your family and your people, and it makes it easy when it's all at one place. So I hear that, man. I get it, but Thanksgiving's not about people. It's also about food, man. And it's such a cool holiday. It's so centered around food. We'll get right into it. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food that you have every year? Or maybe not every year, or just you've had once.
Yeah, so we have it every year. My grandma always made it growing up, my great grandma. Um, and like I said, we used to spend Thanksgivings with her. So she would make these homemade egg noodles, and I don't have you ever heard of an egg noodle?
I think so.
I'll describe it
Yeah, go on.
either way, but it's really just a shape of a noodle, I think. Maybe there's eggs in them. I don't actually know how they're made. My mom doesn't make them homemade anymore. She buys them at the store. But my grandma would make them homemade, and they're just these thickly cut noodles, and it's in like some sort of gravy and chicken, and it's all in like a crock pot, and you make it that way, and it's fantastic. It mixes perfectly with every Thanksgiving food. You want to mix it with mashed potatoes. You want to make a stuffed roll. It's great. Like it's carbs, it's protein, and it doesn't have any color, just like basically all Thanksgiving food. Um, well, besides the cranberry sauce and maybe a vegetable here or there, but yeah, that's my favorite. It's a classic in my household, and I know I say that and nobody probably knows what it is, but we've had friends come over that Jaden I talked about. Him and his wife came over, and we hosted them one year, and he had it, and I think every Thanksgiving he's been hitting my mom up and, hey, can we get that recipe again? Like I'm so pumped for the egg noodles, and so yeah, if you're able to experience it, you'll probably like them. But that's my favorite, and it's great for leftovers. That's you put it in the microwave, you throw a roll next to it, and it's fantastic. I love it. How about yourself? What's your favorite?
Man, I might have to make a stop at Casa de Grinder around dinner time just to snatch it and leave. Um, it's nothing
You can get
crazy.
some
Yeah,
leftovers. We'll have it. We'll have some
yeah. It might
leftovers.
not be any, honestly. They're that good. Um, but yeah, man, favorite. It's nothing special. But man, it's really only around this time of year that I get it. But my grandma's gravy. When I say gravy, like legitimate gravy, not just like a pasta sauce. But some people claim that that's what it is. But um, to quote the great Leslie Jones, I put that shit on everything. Like it's covering the mashed potatoes, the turkey, the ham, like anything that seems like I can put it on. It's great. I don't know what she makes that of. This year I will be eyeing her to see how she actually does make it, but she puts it in that, she makes it, she puts it in the gravy boat. It sits right here, the gravy boat that only exists during Thanksgiving and maybe Christmas. And I that thing like a hawk, and I make sure I'm the first one to grab it so it's still hot. Put it on my food. It just makes everything taste so much better, and that's probably the main thing that I look for. Because man, I'm just not. Segues right into the next topic, but I'm not a big turkey guy, so I've got to put something on the turkey to make it taste just a lot better.
Yeah, dude, is turkey overrated?
It so is. I think it's mind-boggling to think that turkey sales are only this time of year. No one eats turkey outside of Thanksgiving. There's a reason for that. It's not good. Um, I, it's a Ponzi scheme, man. It's just stupid. that all basically all the turkey farmers are like, we've got to sell turkeys. We got to come up with something. Let's just sell them for Thanksgiving. The dark meat part of the turkey's good. I get that. I totally get that. But man, having to eat turkey for like 2 or 3 or 4 days, the fourth Thursday of every November, I think it's wild. I'm not a big fan of turkey. I even made a comment to my mom yesterday. I was like, hey, have you done any of the shopping for Thanksgiving yet? Because I think we should just abolish the turkey thing and maybe just get like a ham, a brisket, prime rib, like whatever. And she's like, no, we got to go pick up a turkey tomorrow. And I was like, dang it, dude.
Yeah, my family abolished turkey, I think 6 years ago. Like we were just like, you know what? That's taking up our egg noodle time. Let's kick that to the side and just go big bowls of egg noodles. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. I do think it's overrated. It's a great marketing scheme. And it's one of the top three icons of of a holiday though. You have the Christmas tree, you have the pumpkin, and then you have the turkey. Like those are the top three icons. Can you name anything better? I mean, thank Valentine's and a heart. I guess that's a good one. I don't think it beats a turkey though.
No, no. I mean, think about like it's everywhere. Like the turkey trot, like you have the turkey trot. That's a big deal. That's another easy marketing thing. Christmas has mistletoe and like stars in the Christmas tree, but yeah, man, the three holidays, the Burr holidays, October, November, and December, their marketing's unreal. I just don't like turkey, man. I don't eat it. I know some people have turkey for like Christmas dinner or in like other big dinners, but I like a nice ham. Like I like a nice brisket. I like a nice prime rib. And even like my cousins out east, like they do. Like people don't know what to do with turkey. Like I think like for us, we've baked it for many years, but I know like people out there were like, hey, let's go do something different to make it better. And they'll like try to fry a turkey, and that becomes a disaster in its own because no one's you don't how often do you fry stuff, and then you gotta go buy all the equipment, and then you do all the research you can, and you hope that it turns out good. But like the stress of that would be so high for me to try to please everyone and make everyone happy with good food and trying to fry a turkey for the first time. So I don't understand it, but turkey sandwiches are actually pretty good. The leftovers for turkey are actually significantly better than the actual turkey itself. I don't know how that makes sense, but
it is funny how some food works that way, where the leftovers are just, that's pretty good. Definitely.
Yeah. I do love post Thanksgiving turkey sandwiches. So that I like purposely don't eat a ton of turkey on the day. So I can have more turkey sandwiches that weekend. So
a savor. I like it. How long
yeah.
How long is it acceptable to eat Thanksgiving leftovers?
I mean, I don't think you should eat leftovers past 7 days in general. I think that's like a rule of thumb. Like I think if you ask ChatGPT, I think they say like 7 days or something like that.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. How long are you excited to eat Thanksgiving leftovers? Like after the day, or after the big day?
If there's still leftovers by Sunday, I probably want to puke thinking about like eating Thanksgiving food. Like Friday, you're super hyped. Like that's like the epitome of Thanksgiving, like leftovers. You're like, oh, I can't wait to eat this today. Saturday, I'm like, all right, like I could down another turkey sandwich, like, probably another couple turkey sandwiches. But by the time I hit Sunday, if there's still leftovers, mentally I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, like I'm ready.
So what's the first thing you reach for? Is it always the turkey sandwich? Is that the number one leftover? Because you have a bunch of stuff you want to reach for. You're gonna eat the best leftovers first, and then you'll probably be left. Sunday is like, oh, now we got to work on that.
I try to only eat. I try to only eat the stuff that I want to eat. Like I'm not on a garbage disposal. Like I kind of leave that to my dad. So like the stuff like the squash, the green bean casserole, the stuff that's like not as good leftovers. I'm like, I'm like trying to eat all the turkey I can, not savor, but like just to kind of get rid of it so I can eat it. So like when my dad does get hungry, it's like, oh, like this is the only thing we have left to eat. I guess I'll eat it. So I guess mentally I'm going straight for that turkey sandwich and the mashed potatoes and the gravy. Because I want to eat that. I want to eat that. I want to eat the other stuff. I kind of leave that to my parents. So we're not a savory household. I don't like to say I don't like a whole lot of stuff. So that's kind of my mentality. And yeah, if there's still turkey by Sunday, I'm pretty pissed. I'm like, I don't want to eat another dry piece of meat again. What about you, man? How many days in a row can you eat your egg noodles and your
Dude,
other?
egg noodles are fantastic. I will gladly, I'm leaving Monday and I hope there's leftovers until Monday. Every time, you get some egg noodles, you throw some the way you do it is you do the mashed potatoes and then you put on the egg noodles on top, and that kind of has the gravy in it and everything, and you have a roll or two with it, and it's good every time. Fantastic. Even, you don't want to microwave it too hot and then you can't eat it. So you might have a little patch that's a tiny bit cold and a patch that's a tiny bit too hot, but it just makes it even better. It's fantastic.
What? When else are you eating your egg noodles? Is it only once a year, or like are they made at Christmas time too?
Yeah, we started opening it up to Christmas time as well. It's so well loved by the family, and yeah, that's the go-to holiday meal for those two at least. But it's only those two holidays. We're not crazy people. We still want it to be a special meal. Well, it wouldn't be crazy. Maybe we should open it to every meal, but it's fun. It gets you in the holiday spirit. And I'd say that's a big thing about holidays is the anticipation and having those traditions that you're excited to have, similar to the turkey bowl or the egg noodle or even just the leftovers, right? Like the anticipation is a big part of it as well.
Oh, I have another comment that's been coming up in the Elmore household lately. The last 2025, the last 5 years, my dad and I have been having turkey carve offs. One, I think 4 or 5 years ago, my mom asked me like, "Hey, can you?" Well, actually, let me back up more. So carving the turkey in the Elmore household has always been my dad YouTubing, "Hey, how do I carve a turkey?" Like 20 minutes before he actually does it, and then it was like the infamous father-in-law, my grandpa, being like, "Oh, you should do it like this," and him being the man of the house, like. That was always like kind of like a little. It wasn't like a big thing, but that was always like a thing here and there over the years. Not every year, but like every once in a while. And then 4 or 5 years ago, my mom's like, "Hey, I think my dad was watching a YouTube video, knowing that it was coming up, and my mom goes, 'Hey, Abe, like, do you want to carve this turkey?'" My dad got kind of upset. And me being me, I was like, all right, like hell yeah, like I'll carve this turkey, like be way better than what dad does. Because and we always give my dad a hard time, which you do when you start, watching YouTube videos 20 minutes before carving a turkey. So I didn't watch the YouTube video, and I just went up to my grandpa and I was like, hey, like how should I do this thing? And then I carved it, and I basically just made it. I plated it. I didn't carve it great, but I plated it super well so that it looked good. And since then, I've been carving the turkey for the last couple of years. And my dad and I have done numerous, like, hey, you get this half and I get that half, and we'll see who can carve the better turkey. I know like a lot of people do wishbones with the turkeys, but nah, man, we we have carve offs with the turkey, and who can plate it the best, and who gets the most turkey off the bird, and it's
Seems like the turkey has just turned into a competitive being at your guys'
yeah.
Thanksgiving. You're carving it, you're racing to it, and leftovers. It's just a dispute between you and your dad. It seems like so. That's
No,
been fun. Who wins?
I can confidently say I've been kicking his ass at carving the turkey the last like 4
Attaboy.
years. I think I'm undefeated in carving it, but I mean,
Self-judged.
I don't think he's gonna listen to this before but really the key is just plating it really well. Like if you make it look well, and do some clean cuts and plate it well, then my family think that you did the best job. So so that's what
Nice.
they're rating it as, and it's been a fun thing, and coming in, especially um coming in from college, it's like, all right, like the main event's here, like I'm here to carve the turkey. So yeah, man, that's kind of how my Thanksgiving's changed over the years, especially in the last 5 years. It's been an awesome dynamic. Cannon, has your Thanksgivings over the last couple of years, or not even last couple of years, but over the years, changed?
Definitely. Uh, when I was younger, at least as early as I can remember for Thanksgiving, I was a vegetarian. I was actually a vegetarian from 5 years, from first grade to sixth grade. So, those early ones, I definitely remember being a vegetarian. And I was a vegetarian because when I was a kid, I was like, "Hey, mom, like, why is chicken and like chicken have the same name?" And she's like, "Well, that's because it's the same thing. We kill the chicken to eat it." And I was like, "I don't want to eat it anymore." And she's like, "Really?" And my mom, being the, um, she'd listen to her kids and like listen to their feelings and stuff. And she was she didn't like the idea of me being a vegetarian, but I was a determined little kid, and so she, put up with that, and she was able to give me a diet that still had protein and had what I needed. But I was a determined little kid, and didn't want to have to kill for what I was eating. Obviously, I you know didn't realize back then, but like all food, basically everything you eat comes from death, which is hard to wrap your head around, especially as a kid. I'm no longer a vegetarian, but I didn't kind of like how everything was centered around the turkey and like killing it and all that. And so when I was younger, it made me sad, really, to see everyone like eating turkey, and it kind of going to waste, and there being a lot of leftovers, and are you going to finish it and all that. And it's like so many beings died for this, and it kind of hurt me. Thanksgiving has developed into my favorite holiday. I love everything we do with it. I love that in the mornings, we get to hang out with our friends, just family that we pick, right? That's all friends are. So I love that. Spending good time with people I love in the morning, and people I've spent a lot of time through my years with. I've developed really good relationships with a lot of the guys there, and continuing to build that. And as you as you start to meet some of these people, as we have them on in future podcasts, you'll see that how great of people they are, and how fun it is, how we interact and all that. So love that. That's great. And then just the aspect of spending time with family, and uh, you know not having any other plans other than hanging out and playing games or eating, or um, developing traditions that we have. I've loved that. And so it's been great. I love that whole aspect, that whole um, development into it being my favorite holiday. And as of recently, I've been with Alyssa. I mentioned it earlier, and I'm starting to realize, Thanksgiving is going to be more of a split holiday. Both our parents live close, and we both love them both. And until we have our own place, maybe, and start inviting people to our house, it will be a split holiday, right? We got to go see Alyssa's family, we got to see mine, and um, we want to see both of them. We both love each other's family, and that dynamic. It's hard when either way you're going to pick. I spend 5 hours with my family and 5 hours with their family. Someone's going to be upset that we're leaving earlier. We got there late, and it's just okay. Well, if we go here and like leave at an hour later, now it's unbalanced, or um, someone's now feeling like they're getting the short end of the stick, and it kind of gets a lot to balance all that, and no one's going to be necessarily satisfied with what they get. It's just gonna give and take here and there. So that's been that's been kind of sad lately. Obviously, it's nice to continue building your circle. You have more people on your side, and it's great to see everyone. But also, it's like I want to have everyone at the same time, and I don't know. It's been fun though. I've really enjoyed Thanksgiving. It still is my favorite holiday. I love seeing everybody and love what it stands for.
I don't know if you've thought about this yet, but I'd imagine that your Thanksgivings in the coming years are going to be like, what the young kids are saying, like pretty lit. Like your Alyssa's mom and your mom are so close. So, like I could see your guys' Thanksgiving. Like I could see like the next couple years, like like, no matter where you guys are at, that you guys just combine Thanksgivings to have a mega Thanksgiving. I'm not sure exactly like the dynamics of Melissa's ones, but man, like I think you guys' parents are pretty close that could be an option in the foreseeable future, and maybe just an idea to throw it out there. I have no problem throwing it out there, but yeah, no, I get it. Certainly for me, man, my Thanksgivings being in college was so hard for Thanksgiving. I know that you're trying to fly back. We never got the full week off for school, so we're trying to fly back, trying to deal with the whole traveling for the holidays, with the prices going up, and then the semester being done like 2 weeks later. Sometimes like the week after Thanksgiving it would be like finals week. So trying to justify like plane tickets to my parents and be like, hey, like, do you want me back for Thanksgiving? And they're like, I don't know, tickets are pretty expensive. And it's like, dang it. Like not the answer you wanted, but yeah, and even as a kid, I never had a problem, with my grandparents like basically taking my room and like me sleeping on the couch. Like I was just always so excited to see my grandparents, that I never really had an issue with them, like with them sleeping in my room or taking the couch for in any period of time. Like, dude, I would sleep on my couch for a year to hang out with my grandparents for a year. But yeah, certainly as a kid, you're like, oh man, like, you got to go to this thing, got to go to that thing. But yeah, certainly as I've gotten older, and Thanksgiving is to this day still my favorite holiday. I would say it's right there with Christmas and New Year's. Basically the triple threat, three-headed monster, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man, I love Thanksgiving. I hope that, looking in the future, like really prioritize, my friends and family over that time, and try to figure out new fun ways to accommodate everyone, but at the same time, like, kind of start our own new traditions. And you brought up a good point. Like, man, how long are we gonna be doing this turkey bowl thing for? Like, maybe I should start training. Maybe I should maybe I should start training. Have a 9-month plan. Once that New Year's clicks in, it's like, all right, I need to lock in for turkey bowl, bro. Like, I gotta start doing speed workouts and all that kind of stuff. But man, that's awesome. Another kind of tradition that we have with Thanksgiving is the day before. I never realized this at all, but like apparently the day before Thanksgiving is like the drunkest day in the country. Apparently everyone gets together and goes to bars or whatever. But man, I don't know when it started. Like I think freshman year of college it started, but all of our family friends, all of our friends' families get together. We rented out one part of the restaurant a couple years ago, and everyone just got together and basically just caught up. Everyone was at school at the time. The parents weren't nearly meeting as much as they were used to being in high school. So I remember when that tradition started, man, I was pretty pumped to that, pretty pumped to see everyone, catch up with everyone. I know that's turned into a lot of different stuff. And there was one year where, and this is the year I realized that it was the drunkest day in the country. But one year I stayed in Winona for Thanksgiving, just because it didn't make sense logistically to come back like the following week after finals. And I went to the bar with my buddy, and it was just basically like a Winona kickback at that in college. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. You guys do this every year? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, well, I guess that's kind of what we've been doing with all the families and getting together. So, I really appreciate that's almost like a hidden aspect. And now it's kind of became like, hey, you going to turkey bowl? Like, when are you going to turkey bowl? Like, oh, I'm going to get there at, 6:30. And it's like, oh, I'm going to get there at 6:15. Like, I want to be the first one there. Like you're not going to beat me there at the field. So I remember some of those competitions pretty distinctly, trying to beat people. and try to guess who's going to be there and who's not going to be there.
Yeah, dude, that night before is a blast. I look forward to it every year, and um, looking forward to it this year. That's for sure. Just good to see everyone, and have some true moments where we're just catching up. We have the Turkey Bowl the next day with basically the exact same people. Um, there is talking, but it's not to the same level as just sitting around having a meal with your friends is, and all our families and catching up. And it's just it's crazy to think we've only been doing that 5 to 7 years, and just the difference in where we all are in lives. Right, we have two, three of us married. A lot of us have moved away or moved and come back even now. Um, just so much has gone on lately, and I think we're living in a cool time, like you said. We don't know how much longer we'll be playing Turkey Bowl, but just enjoy what we have for now. And same thing with this meeting on not meeting. I'm not making it sound so formal. This meeting of friends on Wednesday. How long are we going to continue to do this? And is this something we do the rest of our lives, or how many do we truly have left? And just soak up each one we have, and um, hopefully good things will continue to happen.
Absolutely, man. I think one great way to kind of end this is just talk about something that we're thankful for. So, off the top of your head, not to put you in the spot, but what are you most thankful for right now?
No, that's a great question, right? It's good to reflect and think, and um, everything that's popping in my head is all the cliche ones, right? Thankful for my family. Super excited to see them and come home to them. And I've been on the road for a while now since college. It seems like since college, every Thanksgiving I have had to fly home to be there. So um, what is that now? 7 years, 8 years that I've had to fly home to see them, and so I'm just super excited to see them. And similar to all my friends, right? A lot of my friends are either there or they're not there, and we're both gone. So they'll be doing the same thing, and excited to see all them. That's great. The older I get, the more I realize that like just being in good health is a huge thing I'm thankful for. It's not every not everybody gets to wake up and go for a run, or wake up and um, go play basketball in the morning, or whatever that might be, or even, wake up and have a positive aspect or a positive thought towards life, right? So I'm thankful for where I am in my health, and um, the older you get, the more you realize that that's not a given thing. And I'm thankful for that. All the people in my life are doing well, or they're still around, and all my friends are still close, and my family is still close. That's great. Thankful for Alyssa. She's been super great to be with, and really enjoy every day with her, even the ones I'm not. She's been back down in Vegas lately. And so missing her a little bit right now, but it's it's fun, dude. Life is great, and really thankful for a lot of things right now, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, hard to follow that up, but not to try to get too cliche, but Casa de Elmore is so healthy, and that will never kind of go unnoticed. And even as we get older, I get older. I don't want to say I feel it. So I still act pretty childish, but parents, grandparents, they're getting older. Everyone's still doing, everyone's still kicking it great. Like which is so happy, and that makes me so happy to think about. So that's just been so nice to see, and so nice to think about that. I get to kind of greatly hug and see my grandparents and my parents, and they're doing well. Bonds we have with all my friends. I'm again just so freaking thankful that we can do Turkey Bowl, and I can still run around a field for 20 minutes. A lot of breaks and water breaks in there. So thankful for everyone I've met that's kind of led me to this point now. Life takes a lot of lot of turns, and I'm thankful for everyone because I'm here. So and thankful to catch up. Yeah, I mean this is awesome just to catch up and kind of reflect on Turkey Bowl and talk about it with someone else and kind of get your thoughts out there and share them. I think that's so important to share what you're thinking, share what you're feeling. And yeah, so just so many great things. Dude, I sound stupid, but like I'm so thankful for games. Like I think games bring so many people together. I don't want to say I'm super competitive, but like I just love playing stuff. Like I love doing stuff and challenging myself, and it can be something as lucky as rolling dice is so fun to me. But
You
yeah,
see why we're
so
friends.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, man, the holidays are special. I think I've never really had a bad holiday. I know that they're out there, but just so grateful to have holidays and glad that it brings people together.
Definitely, man. Yeah, super good times coming up, and looking forward to everything to come. And I'd say I'm also thankful for this podcast. I think it's given us a platform to just sit down and talk to each other for an hour, and I don't think that happens a whole lot. Oddly enough, even though we're miles away, we can still catch up, and I think we'll start to have some friends come on and catch up with them, and I'm looking forward with everything this has to offer. I think it's a cool thing we're doing, and thankful for everybody listening. So thank you
Yeah.
everybody, and happy Thanksgiving.